an aggressive approach here against Seiler. As Gary Wagenschutz, the home plate umpire, calls ball 1 there on that fastball inside. If there were any technical difficulties, we're sorry about that. Hopefully everything's working now. Thanks to our technical specialist, Mr. Ryan Porath, for everything he does here at the ballpark. Meanwhile, Diaz on the 1-1 pitch, driving a ball out to right center field, but the man with plenty of speed out there rounding out in center field, Mr. James Batley, makes that one look really easy. 2 outs here now.
Yeah, we know Batley has the speed and the base path, and it showed up there in the outfield. Great running catch in the gap there to save extra bases.
So 2 up, 2 down here for Mark Seiler and the Beavers. And now the 3-hole hitter, Gabe Gunter, coming up to the plate for Team Eastside, trying to give them their first hit of the ball game.
Gunter batting 154. Obviously in the 3rd hole for a reason. They need his power.
No doubt about that. He's got nobody on the base pass to come in to score, but Gunter does not have a home run in regular season play, but did have one in that simulated game that we had before the season begun. So I know he can put it out of the park if he chooses to, but haven't seen one go down in the record books just yet. The man out of Thousand Oaks, California, quickly down in the count here, 0-2 after fouling that pitch off.
Seiler not wasting any time here getting after these hitters. He wants to get back in the dugout and give his Beavers a chance to put some runs on the board.
Inning number 1 for Tyler Palm. He had thrown 8 pitches, 7 for strikes, had a strikeout to his credit. And then the matchup on the mound with Mark Seiler, that was pitch number 8 right there, but Gunter got just enough of it to foul it off and stay alive here. But quickly down in the count, like you mentioned, Jared. Really liking what we're seeing from the 2 guys out there on the bump so far here tonight.
Oh, yeah, both attacking the strike zone and making the batters hit and play.
0-2 from Seiler, swung on and missed. Gunther chases after one high and away. Both pitchers get a strikeout in their first inning of work. 6 up, 6 down. We're scoreless headed to the second inning of play here at Jimmy John's Field. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Off to inning number 2 we go. Rich Borland alongside Jared Katz here with you. Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers and Eastside Diamond Hoppers in a scoreless bout thus far through 1 inning of play. 6 up, 6 down if you're just joining us. Both pitchers with a strikeout to their credit so far through 1 frame. And now Tyler Palm, the 6'9" right-hander out of West Branch, Michigan, back out there for his second inning of work. He'll deal with the 4, 5, and 6 hitters of this Birmingham Bloomfield team, starting off with the left-hander, Jack Hranick, a breaking ball that misses the zone, 1-0 the count.
Hranick batting .389, 5 RBIs. You mentioned yesterday, 4 RBIs, right, yesterday?
Yep.
For Hranick?
Yeah, he went 2 for 4 yesterday against the Utica Unicorns. He was actually batting in the 7th spot, so with those 2 hits and the 4 RBIs, getting moved up into the cleanup spot, and rightfully so.
Oh, yeah, I always want to see that early move up in the lineup.
The Count even at 1-1 here against Rannick. He hits a hard chopping ground ball over to the right side of the infield where Sebastian Diaz will make the play with ease. 4 up, 4 down here for Tyler Palm and the Diamond Hoppers. That'll give way to Skylar Marcato.
So I talked to Marcato, Rich, before the game. I talked to him about his approach at the plate. He says he wants to attack the fastball early, and he said he makes adjustments later. He believes that his strengths as a hitter is when he's on that he can hit everything, but one of his weaknesses is pitch selection. He sometimes can get away from his routine and become over-aggressive. So he tries just to get early on the fastball and try to put that in play.
Yeah, that first pitch to him was, in fact, a fastball, just far too inside for his likings. He actually had to get out of the way of that one as Palm comes back with the fastball a little bit closer to the strike zone there. Mercado going after it, fouls it off. Mercado in yesterday's game against those Unicorns in the non-public game, Mercado went 2 for 5, had a run scored, but did strike out twice. So a little bit of everything for the right-hander out of the Bronx. Palm, the 1-1 delivery, looked as if it was that go-to slider for Palm on the 1-1, just getting enough of that outside corner. So if you're Mercado now, you got to look for a 4-seam, 2-seam, changeup, slider, and curveball. You've seen one fastball and a couple of sliders now. The 1-2 pitch, fastball right down Broadway. Mercado at the last second realized that that was probably going to be a strike, so he fouls it off into that protective netting over to our right. Absolutely gorgeous day for baseball here in Utica, Michigan, as there's a little bit of shade around the home plate box area, the circle, I should say, and it's going right up until that pitcher's bump, but the sun's still shining on Tyler Palm and the rest of the Diamond Hoppers as this ball is grounded down that third baseline where Gunnar Buhner will make contact with it in foul territory, so just a foul ball there for Mercado. Not a bad at-bat so far.
No, great at-bat. Got down in the count quickly, 0-2, and has fought off some tough pitches here to stay in the count. And you mentioned the Bronx, from the Bronx. I actually talked to him. I'm a big Red Sox fan, and he's obviously a Yankees fan, so we've trash-talked a little bit, but he's a very nice guy.
Mercado on the season, batting just 158 so far, but an opportunity here, nobody on, 1 out for the Beavers. Palm with the delivery. There's that slider, just missed outside. Home plate umpire Gary Wagenschutz making the call right there, and a good one. Count even at 2-2. Wind picking up just a little bit from right to left here. Let's see if Mercado try and go with it to left field. Makes contact, can't do anything with it, but he's worked himself into a good at-bat thus far.
And he's working up the pitch count for Palm, which is will be good later on, because this pitcher looks pretty good. 6'9", very intimidating out there. He just looks big from up here, so I can't imagine what it looks like down there.
No doubt about that, Mr. Katz. Tyler Palm, quite the force out there on the mound, and the fact that he's 6'9" probably makes everything easier. Going down on the plate and right on cue, Mercado looks at something, and he couldn't have anything to offer to it. He'll go down looking in the books. 2 strikeouts via the look so far in this one for Tyler Palm through 5 outs.
Great pitch there for Palm. If you're Mercado, you probably are looking still for that slider. If you read the scouting reports, that he likes to go to the slider and just paint right down the middle with the fastball. Good pitch there for Palm.
So 2 outs, nobody on for the Beavers here in the top of the second inning. And right under the wickets of the first baseman, Cameron Coons, Adam Gauthier gets on base. We'll see what they mark it. It was a really hard-hit baseball, but here in professional baseball, that most likely should be made by the first baseman, Coons. And, in fact, they will mark it down as an E3 for the Beavers. So, for the Hoppers, as Gauthier gets on base. First base runner we've seen all night thus far. And now Tyler Palm will have to deal with Christian Helsel, the man out of Altoona, Pennsylvania, home of the Altoona Curve.
It'll be interesting to see if the Beavers put Gauthier in motion here, try to get him in scoring position, as seeing that Palm is pitching pretty well. So I don't know how many runs are going to be on the board tonight, but they might want to try to get one and be aggressive early.
So Helsel down in the count here, 0-1. Helsel in his 6th game with the Beavers here in 2018. He's 5 of 18 coming into play today. The 0-1 pitch looked to be a changeup in the dirt. Good stop from Josh McAdams to keep the runner on first base, Gauthier, honest over there. And I'll tell you what, that sun is beating down. You got to imagine if you're Gauthier over there on first base, you got to keep your tabs on Tyler Palm. It's probably really tough to see over there as the 1-1 pitch, or excuse me, the 0-1 pitch misses inside, evens the count up at 1-1 on Helsel.
Yeah, the sun is very strong right now, and it's probably hard for the batter because the ball comes from the sun to the shadows, and you can disappear. The ball can look like it disappeared for a minute, but it's pretty hard to pick it up right now.
Yeah, being able to hit a professional fastball, probably the hardest thing in all of sports, and then when you throw in the shade element with the sun, it's a matter of minuscule moments that can make the difference. Palm trying to work with his advantage out there on the mound. The count even at 2-2 here. Helsel batting in the 7th spot today, was in the cleanup spot yesterday in that game against the Unicorns, but switched with Haranek, and unfortunately for the Beavers, Helsel goes down via the chase. 3rd strikeout on the night for Tyler Palm. Both pitchers looking good so far. We'll see if Seiler can keep it up on the mound for the Beavers. We head to the home half of the 2nd. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's broadcast. Rich Borland alongside Jared Katz here on your broadcast call. Eastside Diamond Hoppers up to the plate for the 2nd time here this evening. Went down in order in the first. 1, 2, 3, a pop-out, a fly-out, and a strikeout. Retired the first 3. The man on the mound, Mark Seiler, out for his 2nd inning of work. He'll deal with Josh McAdams now, the starting catcher for this Eastside team. McAdams behind the dish for the 2nd time this year, mixing in between catcher and DH, playing in his 6th game here for Team Eastside. He's got 5 hits and 17 at-bats coming into play today as McAdams, after swinging and missing at the first pitch he sees, looks at a called strike right there by home plate umpire Gary Wagenschutz. And just like that, Mark Seiler coming right where he had left off in the first, quickly ahead of this leadoff hitter in the 2nd. 0-2, and then that fastball just missing outside. That's about as perfect of a 0-2 pitch you can get. That fastball high and outside. Adam Gauthier behind home plate, framing it up perfectly, but home plate umpire Gary Wagenschutz said it just missed, and rightfully so, as this slider slides out of the way. Nice stop there from Gauthier, but nobody on the base pass. Count even at 2-2.
Yeah, you can see here Seiler, and both him and Palm have been attacking these hitters. Maybe they're trying to use the shadow to their advantage. So we'll see if he can get a strikeout here on the 2-2 count.
The 2-2 fastball in on the hands. Over at third base is Thomas Rulis. Fires one to the other end of the diamond where Christian Helsel makes the play with ease. 5-3 put out. One up, one down for the Hoppers in the second.
Strong throw by Rulis. Third base, that's the hardest throw. You're the furthest away from first, and he has a gun over there.
Yeah, Rulis, like we'll mention, time in and time out, that 2017 batting champion. He's known for his bat, but I'll tell you what, he's got quite the arm over there and plays really good defense on the hot corner. You will be seeing him in arguably every single game here for the Beavers in this season till he gets called up to bigger and better things, which we are always hoping for with every player here in this league. Meanwhile, Gunnar Buter stands in now from the right side. Looks at ball one to begin the at-bat, and then should have looked at ball two, as that one was even more inside than pitch number one, but looked as if he was going into that pitch with the motive to try and get something put into play, as he fouls it off, evens the count up at 1-1.
Yeah, Buhner trying to put that in play, but not a good pitch to swing at, way inside, and got by the catcher too.
The 1-1 hit on a line out to left field. Can a play be made? No, it cannot. Daniel Oliveri laying out to his right at that warning track. He will not be able to make the play. Really nice piece of hitting there from Gunnar Buhner. A one-out double. Have the Hoppers threatening here in the second.
Yeah, great hit by Buhner. Tough play for Oliveri over there, but he made a good effort. You got to give him credit for trying, but it was just out of his reach over there.
Yeah, Gunnar Buhner with a nice piece of hitting there with one out. Gives the Hoppers some offensive threat. And speaking of an offensive threat, standing in the man who had 3 home runs in his first 3 at-bats here on this 2018 season, Mr. Chris Mangus, the 2018 Week 1 Player of the Week. Man out of Niles, Michigan, checks his swing, holds back, but pitch is called a strike by the home plate umpire. 0-1 the count on Mangus. Mangus, in his time since those 3 home runs, he is actually hitless in 2 games. 0 for 4, does have a run scored since then. And look at this approach here from Mangus. Couple of off swings there from the man out of Niles, Michigan. You wonder if that deceptiveness with the sun and the shade is messing with him here.
Looks like it for sure. He looks like he's trying to hit another home run to add to that total, because he hasn't had a hit since. So maybe he's just over aggressive here.
0-2 to Mangus. Fastball high and out of the zone. Mangus was thinking about it in a protective mode, as he should be with 2 strikes. Holds off, though, on the 0-2 fastball high and out of the zone from Seiler. Brings the count to 1-2. Buhner over there on second base, awaiting Mangus to score him in. The 1-2 pitch, slider over the heart of the plate. Mangus probably could have done a little bit more with that, but doesn't get good wood on it. It fouls off into the grass to our left. Talk about it a little bit, how Jimmy John's infield foul territory sort of resembles the Coliseum in Oakland. A lot of wide open space in foul territory for plays to be made and plays to almost be made, as we've seen that happen time and time again. Players just missing some out-of-reach catches as Mangus continues to battle here. 5 pitches in this at-bat. I believe 4 of them have been fouled off. And that open base over there on first. A lot of things possible here for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, but of course they are all hoping that Mangus can put something into one. The 1-2 pitch from Seiler swung on and missed. Looked to be that slider once again. 2 outs here now for the Diamond Hoppers.
Yeah, great slider there. He fouled off a couple pitches, but Seiler definitely put him away with that slider in the dirt. It's a decent at-bat, though, from Mangus to look bad on 2 pitches, but foul off a few, come back, and get up there next time and try to hit it out.
Yeah, he went down in the count to start, but battled back. But like you said, that Seiler slider just too much for the right-hander out of Niles. And he gives way now to Cameron Coons, the first baseman who had that defensive error in the top half of the inning. Thankfully, from a Eastside standpoint, it did not come back to haunt them. Coons looks at the fastball inside. Ahead of the count, he is 1-0 here.
Yeah, you mentioned the foul territory here. reminds me definitely of the Coliseum, but it's a pitcher's best friend for sure. You can get a lot of outs that way that normally would be in the crowd, but and not hitters don't like it, but for pitchers, that's their best friend out there. All that foul territory.
And then piggybacking onto that, the amount of distance in between home plate and the backstop, one of the shortest ones in all professional baseball. So really a defensive friend is the way this field is set up. Coons, meanwhile, on the 1-1 pitch, fouls off one near that third base coaching box where Paul Nochi stands.
The only thing that can help hitters here is if you ground it in the grass, it sometimes dies out there. And it's a tough play for the infielders, especially if they're playing back. Sometimes the ball just stops or slows down tremendously from that grass.
So a little break in the action as Seiler getting comfortable with his battery mate Gauthier behind the dish. Count 1-2. Let's see what Coons has to offer. He takes a pitch to the opposite field as he should have, but all it can find is the first baseman Christian Helsel's glove, and the Diamond Hoppers get a one-out double from Gunnar Buhner, but can't get anything after that. We are scoreless as we head to the third. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland, Jared Katz here with you in this top of the third inning. Mentioned it's Thirsty Thursday presented by Dave & Buster's. If you haven't been to the ballpark and you like to drink, I mean, Thursdays at Jimmy John's Field, really, you can't beat it. $20 ticket includes a grandstand seat, Jimmy John's Field souvenir sampling cup, and 5 3-ounce craft beer samples. You get a pub crawl with drink specials. All 12-ounce craft beers are just $5. And you also have $2 Bud and Bud Light 12-ounce drafts. One of the many things that we do here at the ballpark. And right back into the action we go. James Batley leading things off for the Beavers. He takes one for a ride to the opposite field out there in left center. But Gabe Gunter, nice approach, nice rundown. And right where that grass meets the warning track, he makes the play. 1 up, 1 down here in the third.
Yeah, James Batley being aggressive there. We were talking before we came on air that he usually bats leadoff, but yesterday 0 for 5, 4 strikeouts. So maybe he just wants to get the ball in play and not have a K next to his name.
Yeah, that's the goal. Batley yesterday going 0 for 5 with those 4 Ks in that leadoff position, getting moved down here into the 8 spot. Like the contact we saw from him, he just couldn't find an open spot in that outfield, and he gives way now to Daniel Oliveri. Oliveri, if you're a USPBLer for life, you know that Oliveri had actually been a part of the Eastside Diamond Hoppers in years past. Part of the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers team now is the man out of Miami, Florida. He's quickly down in the count here. 0-2 is Oliveri. Tyler Palm is just really working some of these guys. He has only given up the 1 error, and outside of that, 2 strikeouts, couple of flyouts, just the 1 ground out. And right on cue, soft contact. Let's see if Palm can field this position. Pitcher turning into the fielder. He can really do it all.
Yeah, he's doing great tonight. Had a little trouble with that ball, with the grass. Took some weird bounces. But Palm is going right after these guys, not messing around with the bottom of the order especially. Just trying to get these guys out and keep his role going here.
And that's the thing, Jared. Tyler, in this 2018 season, he's made 2 starts. In his initial outing to begin the season back on May the 13th, he went 5 innings strong, allowed just 2 hits against this same Birmingham Bloomfield team, had just 1 walk, 3 strikeouts as he throws a fastball high and inside. Back to the top of this Beaver order we go. Ryan Smith ahead in the count 1-0, but in that outing, just the 1 walk to 5 strikeouts, and then in his second start back on May the 18th in a losing effort, he went 4.2 innings, gave up 1 earned run on 6 hits, as the slider missing low and away there brings the count to 2-0. But in that start back on the 18th against the Unicorns in those 4.2 innings, gave up the 6 hits, had 2 walks, 3 strikeouts against the 24 batters that he had faced. But coming into this start, a .93 ERA and a 1.14 whip. Tyler Palm has solidified himself into this top of this Eastside rotation. The 2-0 pitch fouled off as Smith got a little piece of himself there on the redirects, and he'll get a little bit of time here as the count's now 2-1.
Yeah, and in the USPBL, you got 4 teams, so they play each other all the time. So it's bound to happen that a pitcher will face the same team twice, maybe even 3 times in a row. It's definitely an advantage for the hitter because you can start to pick up on what the pitcher likes to throw.
You're absolutely right. Not picking up what he was putting down right there was Smith. The 2-1 pitch in there for a called strike. Count even at 2-2 as Tyler Palm's trying to throw his second 1-2-3 inning, and that breaking ball over the plate. Backwards K in the books there for Ryan Smith. 3 up, 3 down for the Beavers in the top of the 3rd inning. We're scoreless as we head to the home half. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland and Jared Katz on the call here with you. Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers and Eastside Diamond Hoppers in action this evening. Thirsty Thursday presented by Dave & Buster's at the ballpark tonight. Really could not ask for better weather here at Jimmy John's Field for tonight's ball game. And it's been a fun one so far. Just 1 hit on the board for the Diamond Hoppers. That's all we've had so far. An error for them as well, as John Kraft stands in here now, the only returning position player on this East Side team. Looks at ball 1 to begin his at-bat here.
Kraft from New Jersey, fellow East Coast guy like myself. It's great to see this league expanding to get players from everywhere, every East Coast, West Coast, South, North. So it's just cool to see how far this league has come in 3 years.
Yeah, the versatility is gigantic here as far as a talent level is concerned. Guys coming from California, the East Coast, like you mentioned, down south, a little bit of everything. A couple guys from outside of the country as well. Kraft, meanwhile, swings and misses at that pitch. Count 2-1 here. Watley waiting on deck. The 2-1 pitch missing in the dirt. Count now 3-1 in favor of the right fielder. I mentioned the man on the mound, Mark Seiler, for this Birmingham team in his second start of this 2018 season, as Kraft fouls off the 3-1 pitch off into the netting. But Seiler in his only start coming into play today against the Westside Woolly Mammoths back on May the 17th. Went 4.2 innings, allowed 3 earned runs on 2 hits. Did have 4 walks and 1 strikeout. So we'll see if he can keep the walks down in this one. The first one he relinquishes today isn't until the the third inning. So nothing through 2, but not the start that Seiler would have wanted here to begin this home half of the third. Now you got Watley coming up to the plate.
Yeah, you never want to walk anyone to start the inning, especially the 8-hitter in Kraft. He was batting 143, I think it was, and just not a good start to the inning for Seiler here.
So Kevin Watley standing in, the man who leads this team in RBIs with 5. Part of the reason he leads this team in RBIs, had a grand slam home run in a non-public game. That was, I believe, let's check this here, back on the 12th. The 16th against the Unicorns, where he went 2 for 4 with that grand slam. The 1-0 pitch, fastball missing inside, and Watley working the count in his favor here. There's a reason he's down at the bottom of this lineup. You normally think that the 9-hitter either is the worst hitter in the lineup or sort of a double leadoff, and that's exactly what Kevin Watley is doing here, acting as that double leadoff to get back to Johnny Knight IV, who leads this team in batting average and hits. Back-to-back guys who can get on base, use their speed, but also show some power when they need to. Watley ahead in the count here, 2-1. John Kraft patiently waiting to move over there at first base, and it looks like he will. Watley tried his best to get out of the way of that pitch from Seiler, but makes just enough contact on that hit by pitch. So you get a leadoff walk and then a no-out hit by pitch, brings runners to first and second. And you go back to the top of this Birmingham Bloomfield, this Eastside batting order. Tough spot here for Mark Seiler and the Beavers.
Yeah, great job by the bottom of the order for the Diamond Hoppers. They didn't really have much going before those 2 guys, so good to get 2 guys on. We'll see what happens at the top of the order. Maybe look for a sacrifice bunt to get a run on the board, but with the top of the order, you might just let them swing away.
Johnny Knight IV leading the team with the batting average and the hits. He's got 7 hits to his credit coming into play today. The .389 batting average. Great spot here for him with 2 runners on, and look at that. Showing bunt, tries to get out of the way, but ladies and gentlemen, I believe that had hit the bat. Johnny Knight IV didn't even try to sell it. He saw it, or all he could really do was not even think. That ball got right to him. He was showing the bunt, and it just made contact as Seiler unconventionally gets ahead of the hitter here, 0-1.
Unlucky for Knight there. Yeah, nothing you can do. The ball's coming at your head. Unfortunately for him, it hit the tip of the bat, but Seiler got lucky there. His command looks a little off to begin this inning here with a hit batter, a walk, and almost another hit batter.
He had a 1-2-3 inning in the first, had a strikeout, and gave up a double in the second. Now a walk and a hit by pitch have runners on first and second with Johnny Knight now down in the count 0-2 as he looks at that pitch that just got enough of the outside corner. But, yeah, unfortunate for the Hoppers as Knight could not get that bunt down. He's going to have to approach this differently here now with 2 strikes on him. Seiler giving a quick look to the runner on second, John Kraft, and then that pitch just missing right there. A little low, little outside, but a really nice 0-2 offer there from the right-hander.
Yeah, it looked like an off-speed pitch there, and it looked pretty good to me up here, but don't have the right view down here, up here, I guess.
It's a pretty good view, just not as good as Wagon Shuts behind home plate as far as calling balls and strikes is. But as far as scenic view, I don't know if you can beat it up here in the booth.
Yeah, this might be the best spot other than the suites up above us, but
no doubt.
I'll take it.
You are exactly right. Those suites up top, definitely luxurious, as I believe they're hearing us up in the suites tonight, as we do every night here at the ballpark. If you're enjoying yourself up in the suites there, hope you're having a good time enjoying this great ball game we got on tap here for you on this Thirsty Thursday, presented by Dave & Buster's. Johnny Knight the fourth trying to stay alive here in this battle with Mark Seiler. He'll hit a ground ball over to the left side of the infield. Thomas Rulis gets the force out at third base and then makes the smart decision to go to first to retire Johnny Knight. I was getting a little excited there. I was wondering if we were going to see some magic here on this 24th of May, but Rulis getting just the 2 outs there as Kraft is retired via the 5U unassisted putout for out number 1, and then Johnny Knight is retired via the 5-3 putout. Nice job there from Thomas Rulis on the hot corner to get 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah, great play by Rulis. If the ball was hit a little harder, I think he could have tried for the triple play. That would have been very exciting to watch, but great just to get the out of third and then fire to first. Again, good arm. So 2 quick outs, exactly what Seiler needed here.
You're exactly right. Now Sebastian Diaz standing in from the right side, looks at something off speed that falls out of the strike zone for ball number 1. Diaz, on our website, he's listed as a shortstop, but he really can play almost every position. He hits the ball now over to shortstop, where Skyler Mercado will make the play. Not easy with Sebastian Diaz running down the line with some speed, but after the leadoff walk and then hit by pitch, Beavers and Mark Seiler get out of the jam unscathed. We're through 3, I should say, here at Jimmy John's Field, scoreless between the Beavers and the Hoppers. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland alongside Jared Katz here with you. We're through 3 innings of play. Beavers and Hoppers scoreless in this one. Thomas Rulis, Rob Pollard, Jack Kranick, the 2-3-4 hitters due up for this Birmingham Bloomfield squad to start off the top of the 4th. Rulis swinging and missing at the first offer he sees out of the hand of Tyler Palm, who heads out for his 4th inning of work. Palm kicks, deals, and Rulis looked like he showed bunt, pulled back, but home plate umpire Gary Wagenschutz calls it a strike. So Palm just continuing to mow some of these hitters down. Quickly ahead here against one of the best hitters in the league. 0-2, fastball high and inside, but not a bad spot there from Palm. He is really in the zone here.
Oh yeah, that was right there. That was a good waste pitch though, but with Rulis batting 389, you got to attack him. I mean, you got to make him put it in play and see what happens here.
Right on cue, he puts it in play, but Gunnar Buhner on the hot corner in time at first. He makes the great defensive stop to make half the play and then tosses it over to his first baseman, Coons, to retire Rulis. Not an easy out. So Rulis making some plays at third, and now Gunnar Buhner retiring him for the first out here in the top of the 4th.
A little third base on third base robbery there from Buhner. That was a great play. The throw was great. That was a tough play. And a good scoop by Coons at first. But in major leagues, I wonder, maybe a replay review there. Pretty close play, but called him out here.
A bang-bang play for out number 1. Retires Thomas Rulis. And now Robert Poller stands in, looks at that go-to slider that you talked about in the pregame, Jared. Poller down here in the count 0-1. Palm continuing to work as this fastball misses high. You see him tap his chest there, telling his battery mate Josh McAdams that was his bad. So the first mistake we've seen from Tyler Palm here in this ballgame. It took until the middle of this 4th inning. You wonder if he'll make any more here tonight, as this game looks like it's going to go down to the wire. As that ball misses the zone as well. The count here 2-1 on Poller. Poller in the game yesterday against the Utica Unicorns, he had went 1 for 4, had 2 runs scored, a walk to his credit, but did strike out twice. Palm the 1-1, fastball just missing on that outside corner. Poller's worked the count in his favor here. It's 3-1.
You mentioned Palm made his first mistake, and shows how good of a night he's having when his one mistake was a high fastball. So everything looking good for Palm so far, but a lot of game left.
2-1 pitch, fouled off by Poller. Or excuse me, the 3-1 pitch fouled off by Poller there. Count now rung full, excuse me. But Poller, in last season, a champion with this Birmingham Bloomfield team, joined the team midway through. Part of the reason he came here was actually because of Thomas Rulis. They had played against each other in college, and Poller, as he follows that payoff pitch into the netting to stay alive, he's got to, he's going to owe Mr. Rulis down the line if his career continues past the USPBL. But Poller, who wasn't sure exactly what he was going to do as his college days were ending, he has definitely found a home here now with this Beaver team. The payoff pitch hit on a ground ball just past the diving first baseman, Cameron Coons, and just like that, Beavers with their first hit of the ball game.
Good approach there with the 3-2 pitch. You know he's going to try to throw something for a strike. He doesn't want to walk a guy. So good piece of hitting there by Poller.
So Poller stands over there at first base. He now gives way to Jack Hranick, the designated hitter.
And you saw there how the ball was slowed down by the grass. Like, it was hit pretty hard, but then it was slowing down as when it got through the first base and second baseman.
Hranick stands in from the left side. Looks at ball 1 to begin this at-bat. Poller over there on first base. No stolen bases to his credit at all this summer thus far. If you look at his 2017 stats, he did have 3 stolen bases, as look at that, he's trying to go. And Hranick, meanwhile, doing his job up at the plate to put the piece of lumber out in front to try and distract McAdams there behind home plate, and it did just enough as Poller gets in there with the stolen base.
I think that steal kind of took the Diamond Hoppers by surprise. I mean, as a 3-hitter, you don't usually see many of those guys take bases, but McAdams lost the ball a little bit on the throw and couldn't do anything.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Rob Poller, the man out of Columbia, he's a smart guy, and he proves it right there, taking the bag with ease. He's waiting to score now as the count's 2-1 on Hranick. That open base at first is an option if Palm wants to maybe give it to him. Skyler Mercado on deck, who struck out looking in his last at-bat. 2-1 pitch to Hranick. Misses outside and high. Count really now in a favorable position here for the left-hander in the batter's box.
You mentioned Poller went to Columbia. I guess if baseball didn't work out, he'd probably have jobs waiting for him. Great Ivy League school there.
Palm nods the head to his catcher, McAdams, behind the dish. Kevin Watley, the shortstop, keeping tabs on Poller at second. And Hranick on the 3-1 offer. Gets contact, but ball goes out of play. I believe it ricocheted off of McAdams before it went back to that first base foul territory side. McAdams looks just fine, though. He'll be ready for this one. Palm hunched over in that preset position. Comes set, fully standing up, and there is that slider. Absolutely nasty, swinging and missing right above it was Hranek for out number 2, and Pollard still waiting to come in to score. We'll see if Mercado can try and bring him in.
Nothing much Hranek can do with that slider. That's a nasty pitch right there from Palm, and like he told us before, he likes to go to his slider. Perfect example there on the 3-2 count as well. So has a lot of confidence in that pitch.
Yeah, Pollard had 8 strikeouts in 5 games coming into play today, so he does strike out quite a bit. So he either puts the ball in play or he strikes out. That's kind of the way that Pollard kind of goes about his success. If he makes contact, it's hard. It's usually in the field of play where players are not at, and see how his season continues. Meanwhile, Skyler Mercado might be able to get an infield single here, and in fact he will. Not a lot of good contact, but does have some speed to him. Pollard going from second to third. Mercado reaching on the infield single. And if you're Palm, you got to be hating yourself a little bit right there. There was not anything you or your teammates could do. Just put the ball in a good spot. Unconventionally getting the single there, but the speed proving well there for Mercado. Runners now on the corners with 2 outs, and Adam Gauthier, the only batter to reach base safely coming into this 4th inning. Reached on the error committed by Cameron Coons back in the 2nd. Stands in here now, looks at the fastball that misses up high. 1-0 on Gauthier.
You saw that ball from Mercado. Like I said before, the grass plays a big factor in that. The ball pretty much stopped before it got to the dirt, and Mercado had a smile on his face, so he'll take the single.
As this ball hit hard up the middle, the 6 over to 4. Watley to Diaz with the easy flip. Mercado is retired at second base for the 3rd and final out. Diamond Hoppers and Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers scoreless as we head to the home half of the 4th. Beavers get 2 singles but can't get any runs in. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland, Jared Katz here with you. To the home half of the fourth we go. Mark Seiler back on the mound for his fourth inning of work. Starts Gabe Gunter off with a ball outside. Through the first three frames, Seiler with a good outing thus far. He's just given up the 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts against the 11 batters that he has faced. Dealing with Gunter here now on the 1-0 pitch. Fastball fouled off into the netting behind home plate here. Count even at 1-1. It'll be Gunter, McAdams, and Buhner to start off the Diamond Hoppers here in this home half of the fourth. Gunter looks at the 1-1 pitch in the dirt and outside. Count now 2-1 in his favor. The man out of California Lutheran University playing in his 5th game with the Eastside Diamond Hoppers here in 2018. 2 hits and 13 at-bats, 1 RBI, 2 walks to his credit as the 1-1 pitch, fastball missing outside. Count now 2-1 in favor of Gunter.
The Diamond Hoppers last inning had a chance. First 2 guys walk in a hit by pitch and couldn't get anything going, so see if they can turn it around.
As the 3-1 pitch hit high into that left field area in a collision, but Thomas Rulis making the catch firsthand and ending up on his rear end out there in the outfield. But he gets the ball first, and he looks to be perfectly fine. So all good looks here for the Beavers, and what a catch there by Rulis. But he had fallen over Daniel Oliveri, the charging left fielder. A little bit of miscommunication, but thankfully for the Beavers, not only did they retire the batter Gunter, but their star player, Mr. Rulis, looks just fine, at least for now.
Yeah, that looked pretty painful over there. But, again, the long and wide foul territory came into play there. That ball was up for a long time. And those balls are hard because all the guys are coming in together, and it's hard to see where the other person is. But thankfully they're all right. It seems they're all fine. So
yeah,
everyone came out okay there.
Yeah, really tough play executed perfectly by Chris Newell's third baseman, Mr. Thomas Rulis. Meanwhile, Josh McAdams standing in here. He's got the count in his favor already, 1-0. Fouls off the 1-0 pitch into the netting over to our right. But McAdams, I mentioned, he'll mix in at catcher and DH. Chris Mangus at DH this afternoon. Coons over there at first base. But kind of a revolving door with the designated hitters between McAdams and Mangus and Coons. Kraft's even been in there once or twice. But pretty much any one of these guys can act as the DH, but it'll mainly be Mangus and then McAdams as they'll rotate between first, DH, catcher, you name it. McAdams, meanwhile, on the 2-1 offer, looks at a ball in the dirt. He's quickly worked himself into a favorable hitter's count. The man out of Calhoun, Georgia, through the first 5 games, 5 hits and 17 at-bats. 0 for 1 on the night thus far, grounded out to third base over where Rulis is playing, back to start the second inning off. And on the 3-1, takes a big cut, can't get anything out of it. Count now full.
As you're mentioning, you kind of want to get a consistent DH because it's a hard position to play. Yeah, you don't play the field, but it's hard to stay loose in the dugout, and you got to prepare for every at bat. And that's all you do. So you got to put everything you have, all your scouting reports into those 4 at bats you usually get per game.
So Seiler on the bump, the kick, the push, slider, just enough of that outside corner. McAdams thought he had base on balls, but instead he'll return to the dugout for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down here for the 3 and 4 hitters of this Eastside lineup. And now Gunnar Buhner trying to get things going here with nobody on and 2 outs.
Yeah, great pitch there by Seiler. Slider on the outside corner. Not much you could do with that ball.
That Seiler slider proving pivotal here for the Beavers throughout this one. 2 hits for the Beavers through 4. Hoppers with just the 1. That was that double from Mr. Buhner back in the second inning. Looks at ball 1 to begin this at-bat.
But McAdams definitely tried to sell it there, and I guess nothing can go wrong if you try to sell it and see if you get the umpire to agree with you.
The 1-0 pitch, fastball, called strike outside corner. And if I'm Mark Seiler, I'm going to keep attacking that outside corner. Gary Wagenschutz home plate umpire giving it to him time and time again here. He has quickly found himself a home over there on the outside part of the plate. Meanwhile, the 1-1 pitch fought off, taken out to right field where Ryan Smith runs over to the right, makes the catch, and another 1-2-3 inning. Second one on the outing for Mark Seiler. We're scoreless as we head to the fifth. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to tonight's broadcast. Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers and Eastside Diamond Hoppers knotted up at 0. We head to this top of the fifth inning. 7, 8, 9 due up for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Helsel, Batley, and Oliveri due up. They're combined 0 for 3 on the night so far. Helsel having to deal with Tyler Palm, who's back out on the mound for his fifth inning of work. Count 0-1 on Helsel to begin this at-bat. Palm continuing to mow some of these hitters down. He's once again ahead of another one, 0-2 here. We've seen that a lot throughout this game.
Oh, yeah, attacking all these hitters. And again, there, use the slider. Feels his most comfortable pitch, and obviously going to that a lot.
Yeah, Palm with 5 strikeouts through the first 4 frames. Helsel looking at called strike 2, or excuse me, looking at ball 1 to bring this count to 1-2. And then on that 1-2 pitch, Helsel staying alive, making contact with that one going away. And I talked about the last time these two teams had met. The winner of that game was in a relief appearance for the Diamond Hoppers. It was Logan Gillespie. He's actually getting loose out in the bullpen as we speak, just in case things get away from Tyler Palm in this one at all. But Palm, after that foul ball was taken out into right, he's got 43 strikes to 18 balls, or excuse me, now 44 strikes as it gets updated here in our books. But if you do the math, that is, let's see, 44 strikes, 18 balls. That would be right around 60 pitches, 62 to be in fact. As the count, 1-2 on the batter, Helsel calls time, gets it from the home plate umpire, Mr. Gary Wagenschutz.
Actually, Gillespie is now sitting down, so maybe just to stretch out a little bit. So I don't know, because Palm looks very good, so I don't know if he's going to warm up or just get loose out there. But for right now, he's just sitting down, so.
This ground ball hit in between the gap, in between the shortstop and third baseman. A lead-off single for Christian Helsel. have the Beavers in motion here. One up and one on here for the Beavers.
Nice hitting there by Hessel. Just put it between the two fielders. No one can get it. Good piece of hitting there. And now it's James Batley, who usually leads off. So we'll see if he can get on base here.
Now James Batley standing in. Batley batting in the 8 spot here tonight. Flew out to left field in his first plate appearance. Mentioned how he had been in that leadoff position in this lineup for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, but he went 0 for 5 yesterday against the Unicorns. Had 4 strikeouts. Probably part of the reason he's batting in the 8-hole today. Give his mind a little bit of a break, but count here 0-2 against Batley with that man on first base, Christian Helsel, who led this inning off with a single.
Yeah, never want to strike out 4 times in a game. And look for Palm to try to use his slider to get him to chase.
Would be shocked to see anything else. The 0-2, there it is, right on cue. Mr. Katz, as looked like Batley might have went around there, but home plate umpire Gary Wagenschutz asking his field umpire, Mr. Brian York, if he had went around. He, in fact, did not.
He doesn't have the best angle, so you never really know, but you take their best judgment.
Palm, the 1-2 delivery fought off. This one will get out of play, though. Batley taking one into the seats near that patio area down the left field line. If you're with a company or just with family, friends, you name it, Jimmy John's Field, a great place to host your social outing events. Our group party patios are the perfect place to either bring companies, workers, family members, friends, you name it. But meanwhile, the 1-2 pitch thrown in the dirt. The base runner, Christian Helsel, taking second base. That is, I believe, his second stolen base of the season. So he gets into scoring position. But back to these party patios, you get all-you-can-eat buffet that includes hot dogs, slow-roasted barbecue pulled pork, grilled chicken breast, fresh pasta salad, fruit salad, assorted chips and cookies. A ticket to the game, just $35 per person. That sounds like something you might be interested in. Feel free to give us a call, 248-601-2400. If you'd like to have a chat with me, my direct line, 141. Can sell you some tickets to the ballpark. If you haven't been out to Jimmy John's Field, I highly recommend it. Meanwhile, Batley going down via the backwards K. Strikeout number 1 of the inning, strikeout number 6 on the outing for Tyler Palm. He is continuing to mow these Beaver hitters down, but still that threat out there at second base. Christian Helsel awaiting to score. We'll see if Daniel Oliveri, the number 9 hitter, can drive him in. He's 0 for 1 on the night, grounded out on a weak ground ball that went right back to Tyler Palm back in that second inning. Oliveri with good wood on it now, but could only get it right to the right fielder. Will we have a double play? We will! A miscue on the base pass from Christian Helsel allows the right fielder, John Kraft, to double him off at second base. The 9-6 putout retires the Beavers in the top half of the 5th. Head to the home half. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland alongside Jared Katz. We head to the home half of the 5th inning where Chris Mangus will get the Eastside Diamond Hoppers going in this home half. Mangus 0 for 1 on the night. Struck out swinging for out number 2 back in inning number 2. Makes soft contact, ends up going off the end of the bat, rolling out of fair territory. So Mangus quickly down in the count here 0-1. But I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Mark Seiler. His only outing so far this season was during one of those non-public games during the week. So this is the first action we're seeing from him, but I'm liking the stuff that we're getting out of this guy. We talked about how he's got a fastball, slider, a curveball, and a changeup, sort of mixing all of those in here today as the 0-1 offer misses and evens the count up here at 1-1.
Seiler looking really good, as you said. Only letting up that one hit and the one error, so looking sharp.
The 1-1 pitch from Seiler is hit a routine fly ball out there where Batley will make the play with ease. He probably could have made that one with his eyes closed as Mangus is retired for out number 1. That'll bring up Cameron Coons, who lined out to Christian Helsel to end that 2nd inning of play. But how about this baseball game so far? What a pitching matchup we're seeing between Seiler and Tyler Palm. You wonder how far each of these guys will go as Seiler at right around 61 pitches, pitch number 62. That slider swung on and missed from Coons. And if I'm Seiler here, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm coming right back with 2 more of those until Coons can adjust to it. You just got to make sure you don't let it slide right over the heart of the plate.
Yeah, and you wonder how long these guys are going to stay in the game. Again, for the Diamond Hoppers, got someone warming up over there. I think it's Gillespie.
Yep.
I'm not 100%, yeah. So we'll see how long they want to go with these guys. But, yeah, great pitching duel so far.
Yeah, no action in that right field bullpen. So Seiler continuing to work here as that 1-1 fastball right down Broadway looked as if Coons was probably on that same mindset that I was. We saw back-to-back sliders, one for a strike, one for a ball, and then that fastball that kind of just froze Coons. He's down in the count here now 1-2. Seiler with that fastball in on the hands. Coons making contact, fouling it off, staying alive. Scoreless here on this Thirsty Thursday. Mentioned tomorrow night, Friday Fireworks Spectacular presented by Xfinity. It's also Meet the Unicorns night and Fat Tire Fridays. Get $1 off of a fat tire. Wish I could tell you what that is, but on the 1-2, Coons hits a line drive. 2nd line out of the night for Coons. This one to the shortstop, Skylar Mercado. 2 up, 2 down so far for the Hoppers here in the home half of the 5th. And John Kraft comes up to the plate, reached on a walk back in his first plate appearance that began that 3rd inning where we thought that the Hoppers were going to be able to get a run across the board, but after a walk and a hit by pitch, a couple of ground outs, one for a double play, retired the Hoppers in that 3rd inning, and now Kraft looking at a called strike 1 to begin this at-bat.
Good contact by Coons. Just hit it right at the shortstop Mercado there, but can't really hold your head down there when you hit a line drive like that. You just got to find a hole next time.
The 0-1 pitch to Kraft, fastball that misses outside. Adam Gauthier couldn't hold on to it, but it wasn't a strike either way. John Kraft, the Coppin State product, coming into play today, just 2 of 14 through 5 games with this Eastside team. The 1-1 pitch hit over to the left side. Thomas Rulis, can he do it again? He makes an incredible stop over there at 3rd base, and I bet you if maybe a guy like Josh McAdams or Chris Mangus or Cameron Coons was running down that line, would have been able to have another one of those top 10 nominees, defensive gems, but Kraft just too fast down that first baseline, an infield single, but gotta love what we're seeing defensively from Thomas Rulis.
Oh, Rulis had a great game defensively just to stop that ball. It's half a miracle in itself, but yeah, with Kraft running, he's a quick runner. There was no chance he was going to get him, but it was a great play to hold him to a single.
Watley now stands in with 2 outs and 1 base runner on. The only base knock for this Eastside team coming into this inning was back in the 2nd inning where Gunnar Buhner had a double. John Kraft over there on first base with the only other hit for the Hoppers through these first 5 frames. We have really enjoyed what we've seen out of Mark Seiler in his 2nd start here in the 2018 USPBL season. And there's that Seiler slider once again. I'll say it time in and time out throughout this baseball game. But he's got Watley now down in the count here 0-2. Kraft not going anywhere, but Watley will be. He'll head right back to the dugout. Goes down on 3 straight pitches. Backwards K for Mark Seiler. Let's keep track here. That is strikeout number 4 for the right-hander. We're scoreless as we head to the 6th inning. Beavers and Hoppers both looking for a run desperately here at Jimmy John's Field on this gorgeous May the 24th. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We'll be right back. Coming to you live from Utica, Michigan. Weather could feel like California. It's about high 80s here at the ballpark at the start time. Probably dropping into the low 80s as we speak. But Tyler Palm back out for his 6th inning of work. Got to imagine this might be his last frame unless he can mow down these top 3 hitters of this Birmingham Bloomfield team in order. 6 Ks through the 5 innings for Palm. Ryan Smith, the batter, who is 0 for 2 on the night. A strikeout and a pop-out to his credit, but he's worked the count in his favor here. 2-0 to begin this top of the 6th. And on that 2-0, fly ball hit deep into left center. Johnny Knight on his horse at the track, at the wall, and this one is gone. Ryan Smith with his first home run of the 2018 season, and it's a big one. Solo shot puts the Beavers up 1-0.
Big shot there for Johnny Knight. Again, 3rd time through the lineup. They pick up on things that the pitcher's doing, and you could see that right there. 2-0 pitch, knew the fastball was coming, and hit it out to deep center field. Looked like Batley had a chance at it, but I don't know if it hit one of the stanchions out there, but not quite sure.
Yeah, so Johnny Knight out there in center, almost making that play. He had a good run on it, but that ball just too far. As you mentioned, though, that was a really good point. As Tyler Palm was down in that count 2-0 against Ryan Smith, having a lot to do with that solo shot to lead off this 6th inning here. And speaking of trouble at the plate, Thomas Rulis, who is yet to have a hit here today, had 3 yesterday in the game against the Unicorns. Slider, a big hopping ground ball over to the right side, but look at this PFP action we're seeing from both Cameron Coons and Tyler Palm. Palm, the 6'9" 200 and some odd pounds, getting his big body over there to cover first base. That ground ball was hit far away from the bag. Coons doing his job to make the play. And Tyler Palm running over there to finish it. Not an easy one either. Rulis, he's a big guy, but he's not that slow, as he is retired for out number one via the 3-1 putout.
Yeah, he's definitely not slow. That's a very tough play, especially for a 6'9" guy, probably 240 or 250 to lumber over there. That's a great play, and you just barely beat him to the base. And I don't know if you saw after they were standing right next to each other, he towered over him. It's just the crazy height difference there, but good play by Palm to get over there and play his position.
An important out after Smith had that leadoff home run. Last thing you want if you're the Diamond Hoppers is to make a miscue defensively, but nice job from Coons and Palm to get the job done. Pollard, meanwhile, standing in. He's 1 for 2 on the night with a single and a stolen base. No single here as this ball is hit high and deep into that left center gap. Johnny Knight with another opportunity takes advantage of this one for the second out. Fly out caught on the run there right near the warning track in left center field. Nice piece of contact from Pollard, just needed it to go maybe 10, 20 more feet.
Yeah, great piece of hitting by Pollard, but I'll tell you what, Knight looks pretty good there out there in center field. Gets a good jump on the ball. And that's something you see from a lot of the major leaguers, best center fielders in the league. You know, guys like Kevin Pillar, Jackie Bradley, they get a good jump on the ball, and that's something that you have to learn early to make a good play on the ball there.
Meanwhile, Jack Hranick standing in, tried to hold back on that first offer from Tyler Palm, but could not hold back on it. But you're definitely right. Johnny Knight with that speed, he will be in center field for as many games as he possibly can, and in that leadoff position. As we mentioned, he leads the Hoppers in batting average and hits. Speaking of hits, Jack Hranick in that 0-1 count hits a single into the right center gap on a line. 2-out base knock. Keep the Beavers going here in this top half of the sixth. They already lead it 1-0, courtesy of Ryan Smith's solo shot that led us off here in this sixth.
Yeah, the Beavers putting some good contact on the ball. We mentioned that fly ball tonight deep in center field, and of course the home run, then that hit right there. They're definitely picking it up better now, the third time around.
Skylar Mercado, the man that you had spoke with prior to this baseball game, 1 for 2 on the outing, singled back in the fourth, but was taken out at second base as part of a 6-4 putout that ended the fourth. Ahead in the count, 1-0. The pitch is fouled off. It looks like it got a piece of Josh McAdams behind home plate. Looks like it might have gotten some of that throwing hand, as he is clearly in some pain behind home plate. And you see the respectable Gary Wagenschutz doing his part to give his protector some time, returning the favor as McAdams takes that one instead of Wagenschutz. So nice teamwork there from the men behind home plate. Looks like everybody is, in fact, okay. So Mercado will be ready for the 1-1. He steps back in the box here now. Hranick over there on first base. Don't believe he has any stolen bases to his credit, and he doesn't. So see if he tries anything. As that front door slider cannot find the zone as Mercado holds off. Works the count in his favor here, 2-1.
Yeah, again, I talked to Mercado, and I asked him if he models his game after anybody. He said that he doesn't, not a specific player, but he tries to mix in great players from the past and present. So big Yankees fan this guy is. So probably some of Derek Jeter because he's a shortstop. That's probably that's what I think, but a lot of good players to choose from on that Yankees history.
Yeah, the core four.
Yep. Rivera, Jeter, Pettit, and Posada.
It was quite the lineup that the Yankees had, and they got a whole different kind of lineup nowadays. It's quite the race as Mercado looks at ball 3 to bring this count full, but we were talking a little bit pregame. I believe your Red Sox in first place now over there in the
1.5, I think, but losing 5-0 tonight to the Rays. So
to the Rays.
Rick Porcello, your former guy.
To the Rays.
To the Rays. But already won 2 games, so won the series already, but still don't want to lose. The Yankees lost, I think it was 12-10 last night with Texas, so A lot of home runs by both teams there. But yeah, it should be a good race all summer. So we'll see what happens.
We had the sun covering every inch of the field of play to start this ball game, but a shadow has taken over just about every inch of the field now. Mercado, meanwhile, pops out to the shortstop, Kevin Watley, for the third and final out. Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, though, take the 1-0 lead on the solo shot off the bat of Ryan Smith. We head to the home half of the sixth. Eastside Diamond Hoppers look to get their first run of the ball game when we come back. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland alongside Jared Katz, my broadcast partner. Got our broadcast help, Drew Kell, up in the booth, keeping track of everything, keeping us on our toes up here in the booth. Thank him for doing his part here with us tonight. Meanwhile, doing his job out there on the mound, going back out for his sixth inning of work. Mark Seiler back out on the bump for the Beavers. See how long his night lasts as we start to see some action in that Birmingham Bloomfield bullpen, but nobody throwing just yet. So guys getting ready for opportunities down the line as we go here. But as of right now, this mound is Mark Seiler's for as long as he can possibly go, as he's got Johnny Knight IV, the leadoff hitter for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, down in the count 0-2. 0-2 offer. There's that slider. Probably got too much of the plate for Seiler's liking, but Knight fouling it off. Couldn't take advantage of that pitch over the plate. He'll be hitting himself for that one, but that's why you get three. Got to protect at all costs here. Seiler with 51 strikes, 24 balls, 75 pitches. Pitch number 76. This one hit high. Might stay in the grandstands here, but in fact ends up going out of play. So Johnny Knight IV staying alive, does the center fielder, who does a great job defensively, a great job offensively. He can really do it all. He's got speed to add on to all of that. So kind of one of those five-tool players. Still waiting to see him hit a home run, but he's definitely had a couple different big hits, clutch hits in this 2018 season so far. Count 1-2 on Knight. Ground ball, chopper. It's going to be a tough play, and it actually will be an impossible play for Mark Seiler. falling back, making contact with the pitch, but cannot get control of the baseball. I believe that's probably going to go down in the books as a base knock, and in fact it will. Infield single for Johnny Knight, the fourth. Tough spot there for Mark Seiler, but all he can do is tear that page out of the book, forget what just happened, and keep on writing. See if Sebastian Diaz tries to lay a sacrifice bunt down here to get Johnny Knight into scoring position, or maybe he'll be given the green light here against Mark Seiler. He is, in fact, given the green light. No bunt being shown from Diaz, but a fastball outside corner, called strike one. Count 0-1 on the man out of Southwest Ranches, Florida.
Yeah, that hit, that's a tough play for the pitcher there. It's instinct to go after the ball. You wonder if he let it go. I don't think there'd be a play, but it's a very, very tough play.
That 0-1 pitch might have been a little low for Diaz's liking, but close enough, called strike two. So the two-hole hitter, Sebastian Diaz, who is over 2 on the night, a fly out to center and a ground out to short, is going to have to protect here in his third at-bat. Mark Seiler, small look over to Johnny Knight, the fourth at first base. The fastball missing outside. Saw it get away from Gauthier there, but Knight staying at first base, not going anywhere. You'll see if he tries something here on the 1-2 from Seiler. Might expect something off speed. Fakes the steal, ends up proving pivotal there for the Hoppers. Great at-bat from Sebastian Diaz as everybody moves up 90 feet. Back-to-back singles for the Hoppers, and they are in motion here in the home half of the sixth with nobody out.
Great hitting by Diaz there. It looked like he was sitting on that slider from Seiler. And best opportunity here for the Hoppers with their number 3 hitter coming up. Yeah, he's only batting 154, but he's in the 3-hole for a reason. Does he bunt? I don't know, but he has to have power if he's in this number 3 hole.
You are exactly right about that. Gunter on the night, 0 for 2 with the strikeout and the pop out to third base. Plenty of possibilities here as we see Thomas Rulis, the man at third base, playing a little bit in there, but looks as if he's playing just behind that baseline now, starting to creep up into it as he's now even with it.
Yeah, I remember in the second inning he turned that double play, so maybe he's looking for the ball to come at him again, step on third and throw to first again. We'll see.
Prime territory for a ground out double play. Gabe Gunter, the 3-hole hitter, with a great opportunity for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. The 1-0 pitch, ground ball hit to the right side. It's going to be tough, and in fact, it'll be impossible. Ground ball getting past the second baseman, Rob Baller, and into right field. The runner will come in to score to tie this game, but meanwhile, Sebastian Diaz getting caught in a rundown in between second and third. He gets back to second safely, so an RBI single off the bat of Gabe Gunter gives the Diamond Hoppers their first run of the game, and look at that. We're all knotted up at 1 here in the sixth.
A good piece of hitting there from Gunter, but it looked like a double play from the crack of the bat, but it snuck by the second baseman, and the error out there cost them a run. Otherwise, the base would have been loaded, but that little drop of the ball, it's everything, cost them 90 feet.
So a meeting of the minds on the mound. Chris Newell out there with his battery, and now left side of the infield. There is some action in that Birmingham Bloomfield bullpen. As soon as we get a number, we'll let you know.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast this game changes. Cruising along, nothing going on really, and all of a sudden a couple hits together, and the Hoppers trying to take the lead here with first and second. Nobody out.
So now McAdams with a golden opportunity, 0 for 2 on the night with a ground out and a strikeout. Gunter over there on first. Diaz at second. McAdams at the plate trying to break this even game. Nobody out, and Mark Seiler in a place that he has unfamiliar with so far today. There's that slider again, this one in the dirt. Good stop from Gauthier to keep the runners at bay.
Yeah, with the pace he was going at before, you'd think that he's a Warriors fan, wants to get home and watch the NBA game, but I guess not.
Yeah, NBA, NHL coming down to the wire. Washington Capitals ended up securing themselves the victory in Game 7 last night against Steve Yzerman's Tampa Bay Lightning. Meanwhile, McAdams looking at ball 2. That one in the dirt gets past Adam Gauthier. Looked to be a wild pitch as Gauthier dropped to his knees, tried to get the block, but could not. So a wild pitch there gets Diaz to third and Gunter to second. So the base over there at first now open, infield now in for the Beavers. They're going to try and get the runner at third, Diaz, out at the plate if they have a play. That 2-0 pitch, there's that slider. Once again, might have been a curve on the 2-0, but either way, that bender completely fooled McAdams. He was probably expecting something of the fastball variety, but instead, Seiler drops the deuce in there. The count now 2-1.
But that wild pitch could come back to haunt the Beavers there because that took them out of the double play possibility. They're now leaving first base open. I don't know if they walk McAdams intentionally or try to get the tag out of home, but it's a bad time for one of those wild pitches.
2-1 pitch to McAdams. Looked to be a changeup that just missed inside. Count now 3-1. It's not the worst case scenario if you do walk McAdams to try and get the force out. The 3-1, that one nowhere near the strike zone. So McAdams will work the no-out walk to load the bases. And now Gunnar Buhner will stand in. You wonder how short that leash is now on Seiler.
Yeah, it's got to be close to the end for Seiler. But you knew with that 3-1 pitch, I had a pretty good indication that he wasn't going to go after him. Just put him on first, the base is open, and go after Buhner, who's batting 143.
So Buhner will be the batter, but just as I mentioned that short leash, it is now officially cut by Newell. He's going to make the decision to go to the bullpen, so we'll take a quick break, but when we come back, we will have a new pitcher on the mound for the Beavers. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we're in this home half of the 6th inning. Nobody out. A really tough spot here for Brian Heldman. He comes in with bases loaded, nobody out, a tie ball game. Eastside Diamond Hoppers and Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, each with a run here in this 6th inning. Mark Seiler's day is done. He goes 5+ innings, gives up 5 hits. Meanwhile, Gunnar Buhner, first pitch he sees out of the hand of Brian Heldman. It's going to fall into that Bermuda Triangle out there in right center field where neither Ryan Smith nor James Batley or even Rob Poller could get to. Everybody's going to move up 90 feet. RBI single for Gunnar Buhner gets them going here, and they have now the 2-1 lead.
Yeah, tough break for Heldman there. You couldn't drop that ball any better. Right between the second short and center fielder. So great piece of hitting there, but nothing you can do if you're Heldman there. You made a good pitch, got weak contact, it just found a hole out there.
So now Chris Mangus stands in. Diaz comes in to score to give the Hoppers the 2-1 lead. Gunter goes to third, McAdams to second. So Heldman trying to limit some of this Eastside damage. This will be a big out if he can retire Mangus. But Heldman, a former teammate of the starter Mark Seiler, one San Diego State Aztec giving way to another. They had actually played together on the team back in 2015. Former teammates playing on later in their careers professionally together on the same team. Really can't ask for anything cooler than that. It's one thing I will always be fortunate enough as my career continues in the baseball world. I hope that one day I see some guys later on down the road in the show that I had seen here in the USPBL. Mangus, meanwhile, works the count 2-1, hits a high fly ball out there, out of play. Count evens up at 2-2, but Mangus 0 for 2 on the night thus far, struck out in the second, flew out to dead center to begin the 5th inning of play. Mangus, if you're unfamiliar, had a record where he had homered in his first 3 at-bats to begin the season. Nobody had done that yet in USPBL history. So Mangus, through the first 3 games of his professional career, making history, and not making any history there except for the second strikeout of the night, and it was a much-needed one for Heldman and the Beavers. The bases loaded out, good enough for out number 1, but still a long ways to go with Coons coming up. He has been retired on 2 separate lineouts, one to first base, one to shortstop.
Great pitch from Heldman there. He's got the little bit of a submarine delivery, and the ball, it was a slider there, looking like it, for a right-hander, looked like it's coming right at your hip and then just slides over to the right, so it's a great pitch.
It's tough enough when you're having to face off against a guy who's delivering from an angle that you're just not used to. And he actually mixes up the delivery points a little bit. You'll see him go from that submarine, move into the 3/4 to try and deceive some of these Hopper hitters. 1-0 pitch, not high enough for Gary Wagenschut's liking. The count now 2-0.
Yeah, it looked like a tough pitch. It looked like a strike there, but didn't get the call. 2-0 pitch. Called strike on the outside corner.
So just got word from our in-game host and ESPN3 analyst, Mr. Matt Derry, the birthday boy. Just got word that Tigers pitcher Matt Boyd is in the house here at Jimmy John's Field. So that's a pretty cool little tidbit of information there. Thank you, Mr. Matt Derry. Meanwhile, we might see the inning end here. And look at that, the Beavers. Mr. Brian Heldman doing about as best of a job as he could. He ends up giving up that single that drove in a run, but then a strikeout and then a 1-2-3 double play gets the Beavers out of the jam. Diamond Hoppers, though, get those 2 runs to take the 2-1 lead at the end of 6. We head to the 7th with the score 2-1 in favor of the Hoppers. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland alongside Jared Katz. Here in your broadcast booth, Eastside Diamond Hoppers and Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers were scoreless through the first 5 frames, but a run for the Beavers in the top half on a solo shot from Ryan Smith, and then a multitude of singles drive in a couple of runs for the Diamond Hoppers. That gives them the 2-1 lead. Starting pitcher for Team Eastside's day is done. Tyler Palm finishes his night, 6 innings thrown. He gives up 5 hits, 1 earned run. He had no walks, probably the most impressive part of his outing, and he also had 6 strikeouts to his credit. He now gives way to the man who ended up victorious last time these two teams met, Logan Gillespie, with that 2-0 record coming into play tonight. He's got 3 games in relief under his belt. Meanwhile, the ground ball from Adam Gauthier is hit to the second baseman, Sebastian Diaz, for the first out. 1 up, 1 down for Gillespie and the Diamond Hoppers. But continuing on with Gillespie's stats, through the first 3 games, 7 innings to his credit with that 2-0 record. He's allowed 7 hits. He's had 4 walks, 6 strikeouts, but a 1.29 ERA and a 1.57 whip. This is his second outing against this Birmingham Bloomfield team. He had gotten the victory, like I mentioned, back on May the 20th, just 4 days ago, in a relief appearance. He'll have to deal with Christian Helsel now, who looks at called strike 1 to begin this at-bat.
Looks pretty good. 4 straight strikes. Make that 5. Right on cue. Make the count 0-2 here.
Helsel 1 for 2 on the night, singled back in the 5th inning, had a stolen base to his credit, but was taken out of the base pass on a miscue when the right fielder, John Kraft, doubled him off at second base to end the 5th frame. He's got an opportunity here now with nobody on base, 1 out against the new arm in Logan Gillespie. Count 1-2 on Christian Helsel. Fastball, top right corner of the strike zone. He can't do anything about it. He got completely froze there for the second out. 2 up, 2 down for the Beavers in the top half of the 7th inning. Now James Batley standing in. He's 0 for 2.
Gillespie making quick work of those 2 Beavers hitters. Striking them out, I think it was 7 pitches. So coming in here hot, ready to go.
So Batley against Gillespie. First pitch, advantage Gillespie. Change up in the zone there, freezes Batley. So Batley kind of continuing his night thus far. A fly out to left field in the 3rd and a strikeout looking as he gets drilled off that front side. Not much he could do about it. Didn't really have time to react, and he'll head down to first base with the hit by pitch. But I'll tell you what, if the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers want a guy on base with a 1-run deficit late in a game, James Batley is a good decision.
Oh, definitely. And after 4 strikeouts yesterday, you get on any way you can. I'm sure that'll sting for Batley tomorrow, but to get on base probably feels good for him right now.
So Oliveri stands in, the number 9 hitter of this Birmingham Bloomfield team, trying to either tie this game or give their team the 1-run lead. Meanwhile, going from first to second is Batley. We talked about his speed, but how about the arm from Josh McAdams behind the dish? Retires Batley, trying to steal the bag. So at the end of 6.5, your score 2-1 in favor of the Hoppers. You're listening and watching to the USPBL YouTube channel. It's stretch time here at the ballpark. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland alongside Jared Katz here with you. We head to the home half of the 7th. Hope everybody's all stretched out as the Hoppers work with the 2-1 lead. Man on the mound is Brian Heldman. He had came in relief for Mark Seiler back in that previous 6th inning. He had given up a leadoff RBI single, but then a strikeout, and then a 1-2-3 double play ended the Hopper threat in the home half of the 6th. Kraft, meanwhile, has worked the count 1-1. Heldman continuing to work out there on the bump, and I'll tell you what, his deceptiveness out on that mound out there, his delivery is absolutely nasty. The results are showing Brian Heldman is going to be a household name here in this Birmingham Bloomfield bullpen throughout the entire season.
Yeah, that was a great pitch. It looked like John Kraft didn't know what pitch was coming, and he almost swung out of his shoes on that one. So he was very fooled on that one, to say the least. But that was a big double play he got that inning. Came in with the bases loaded, nobody out. Toughest situation for a reliever, and got that one bloop hit to fall in, but came back and got that big double play to get him only one run to keep his team in the game.
Kraft looks at ball 2, low and away to even this count up at 2-2, but how about the night thus far for John Kraft? A walk, reached second base, and then a single back in the 5th. Perfect so far throughout this ball game. Let's see if the Beavers can retire him for the first time today. And look at that. I talked about it in the previous inning of Brian Heldman's work. He sometimes goes to that three-quarter spot, and then just right there, a normal type of delivery over the top. Not only were we confused up here, you got to imagine what was going through the mind of John Kraft out there on the plate.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I didn't know he had that in him, but if you never know what pitch, let alone what pitch, but what arm angle he's coming at, it's very tough.
And right on cue, Kraft hitting a line drive, fly out over there to Daniel Oliveri in left field. 1 up, 1 down for the Hoppers. Kevin Watley, the number 9 hitter, standing in now.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen that in the big leagues where the guy throws that three-quarter angle and then all of a sudden just throws a regular pitch. I know Johnny Cueto has that slide step and then he hesitates for a while before he throws, but I've never seen someone do that before. That is very difficult to pick up the ball for sure there.
Watley taking advantage of the first pitch he sees out of the right hand of Brian Heldman. Heldman, when he's coming from that delivery, if you can stand in that on-deck circle, try and get used to that type of approach at the plate, all you really got to do is keep your eye on the ball, put it in play. As tough as this game is, sometimes it really is that simple, and Kevin Watley exemplimenting that perfectly as we get back to this top of the Eastside Diamond Hopper order.
Good night for Watley at the 9 hole. That single there, and also got hit by the pitch in the second. But very tough to pick up the ball, especially if you don't know he might go to a full set and pitch like a normal pitch. So even if you're looking at the sidearm, he could surprise you and throw a regular pitch. So you never really know.
Yeah, he doesn't go to it often, but the sole fact that you know he can will mess with that timing just enough. If you're Heldman, you see that slider bend in there. That is a perfect pitch to Johnny Knight IV, who singled and came in to score back in the 6th inning. One of the 2 runs that had came in, that was on Gabe Gunter's RBI single. 1 out, 1 man on. Johnny Knight trying to keep the Hoppers going here in this home half of the 7th inning. The slider there once again from Heldman slides out of the strike zone. The count now 1-2. Nice 0-2 pitch there from Brian Heldman to try and get Knight to chase, but a better job from Knight to hold off. He stays alive in the count. Infield, outfield at normal depth. A great opportunity for the Beavers to try and get 2 here, but what a jump over there at first base. And look at that. Gary Wagenschutz at home plate taking charge. The man at the plate, Johnny Knight IV, looked like he tried to sell getting hit by that pitch. Looked like he was wincing in pain, but Gary Wagenschutz having absolutely none of it. One of the rules here in the USPBL, if a man at the plate does not try and at least get out of the way of the ball coming to him, he'll have to stay in the box and earn his right to get on base. It'll go down in the books as a ball, so the count will even up at 2-2 here. But Watley staying at first, Knight staying at the plate, and Heldman making sure what the count is. So count, I believe, is even at 2-2, but Heldman had asked Gary Wagenschutz behind home plate exactly what was happening there, and now Chris Newell getting his reassurance down there with Wagenschutz. Those two very familiar with each other. Both of these guys have done their time here with the USPBL throughout these first 3 seasons, so a nice friendly man-to-man conversation there between Chris Newell and Gary Wagenschutz. Everybody just making sure that everyone is accounted for here as count remains at 2-2. But I'll tell you what, how about that jump we saw from Watley at first base before that entire conversation?
Yeah, Heldman very fortunate that that was a great jump. He was gone before the pitcher even threw the ball, so if it didn't hit him, he would have been safe at second, no doubt.
And now it comes back to haunt him as Johnny Knight swings right through the 5th pitch of the at-bat. Goes down for the 3rd time tonight. He'll be at 1 for 4 with that single and run scored. Watley remains at first base. 2 outs now on the board. And Sebastian Diaz, who singled in the 6th inning, just like Johnny Knight, and came in to score, stands in here now, 1 for 3 in tonight's contest.
Yeah, tough break for Johnny Knight. You know, you think you get hit by the ball, you think, oh, 1st and 2nd, 1 out, but apparently it looked like he didn't try to get out of the way and almost leaned into it. But that'll hurt no matter what.
Diaz hitting a pop-up in foul territory. Jared and I, we talk about all the room to make plays, and nothing but room for error right there for the first baseman, Christian Helsel. He was nowhere near the warning track in front of the first base dugout. He was still right smack dab in the middle of that foul grass area. Just couldn't make the play, and we'll see if it comes back to haunt the Beavers here with the 2 outs.
Yeah, you'd think he might have had to lost the ball in the sky because no excuse not to make that catch, and now you give a good hitter like Diaz a second chance. For him, you hope it doesn't come back to bite the Beavers there.
Diaz on the 0-1, looked at that pitch all the way through, right until it found the mitt of Adam Gauthier, and he kept his eye on it through and through right there as that one just misses the zone, evens the count up at 1-1. 2-1 your ball game here. Hoppers out in front trying to add on to this 1-run lead. Brian Heldman with the strikeout. The runner going from 1st to 2nd and then 2nd to 3rd, but nobody realizes that there are 2 outs on the board. And maybe there was only 1 strike. Scoreboard it said 2. But a tough spot right there for the Beavers. Not really sure what had happened there. I thought that Sebastian Diaz had swung and missed for strike number 3, but instead, count 1-2, and taking second base was Kevin Watley with the stolen bag, and he actually gets all the way to 3rd as that ball had went into center field. Batley had almost gotten him out at 3rd base there, but a little bit of mix-up with the count on the scoreboard. Thought that was strike 3, but instead, Diaz remaining alive here with an opportunity to drive in another insurance run as that 1-2 pitch just misses. That slider sliding out of the zone just in time.
Yeah, it definitely said 2 strikes before that pitch, so I don't know if it's the umpire or the man next door. Not going to mention names, so we're nice here, but I don't know what happened there, but lucky for the Hoppers there, able to get the 3rd on the error.
And rightly so. Brian Heldman does, in fact, get the job done with no runs coming across the board. Might not have been exactly how he wanted it to with Watley getting all the way to 3rd base there, but he retires Diaz for the 2nd strikeout of the inning. That is strikeout number 3 on the night for Heldman. Hoppers, though, lead it by a score of 2-1 as we head to this 8th inning here on May the 24th. First of 6 games here on this Memorial Day weekend. Glad you're tuning here with us on the USPBL YouTube channel. We'll be right back. So Daniel Oliveri begins this 8th inning. The man out of Miami, Florida, choosing to go with California as his walk-up song. Both warm places, so can't really complain with those two choices of living. But Daniel Oliveri, meanwhile, working the count in his favor here, 1-0. Rich Borland alongside Jared Katz on the call here with you. Broadcasting intern Drew Kell along for the ride, helping us out with stats and such. So Oliveri on the 1-0, fouls off a pitch into foul territory down that third base line. Count even at 1-1. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast here. We've seen a really good game. A couple of great outings from both starting pitchers have molded this one together. And as I say that, this ball hit into left field by Oliveri, and I believe it actually made contact with a bird that was flying from right field to left field. I saw the ball drop, and I mentioned our broadcasting intern Drew Kell up here in the booth with us, helping us out with a little bit of everything. I didn't see that, but Drew said that it had, in fact, ricocheted, and you saw Gabe Gunter out there in left field originally was playing it and then had to run in at the last second. Not sure if that affected the result for Oliveri. I'm guessing that might have dropped in either way, but you really never know. Meanwhile, Ryan Smith, the man who had driven in the only run for the Beavers with a solo shot in the 6th inning, stands in now as we head back to the top of this Beaver lineup.
Yeah, very weird play. It looked like the ball was going right at Gunter from the contact, but it just dropped. And then you see he overran it, and it went behind him. So I don't know if Drew's right, but it might have hit a bird. Little Randy Johnson.
You took the words out of my mouth. That was quite the scene that I'm assuming we will never see again.
No chance.
You feel for that bird.
That was terrible. Never again. That's almost impossible.
One pitch to Smith, misses just outside. Brings the count to 2-1. Great hitters count here for Ryan Smith. He had worked the count in his favor against Tyler Palm. 2-0 in that 6th inning when he had left the yard over that left center field wall. Another good hitter's count here. See if he can do anything with it, as Gillespie, who's back out for his 2nd inning of work, keeps tabs on Daniel Oliveri over there at first base. Oliveri in this 2018 season, no stolen bases to his credit. Did have one in the playoffs last year, though. 2-1 pitch. Called a ball by the home plate umpire, Gary Wagenschutz. Count 3-1 now in favor of Smith. So the favoritism of having a good count here. Smith with plenty of opportunity to maybe tie this game, maybe retake the lead. He could be your pick-to-stick winner pending the result of this one. 3-1 pitch. The unconventional 3-1 breaking ball falls in for a strike.
Yeah, if you're Smith up there, there's no way you're looking for that pitch on a 3-1 count. 3-1 count's almost automatically a fastball count. Drops in that ball, it's hard to do anything with it.
Payoff pitch from Gillespie. Breaking ball over to the right side of the infield. Can they get 2? They will! What a play by Sebastian Diaz as well as Cameron Coons. And for the 2nd time tonight, the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers are doubled off on the base pass. And look at that, a 2-1 lead for the Hoppers will stay. What a job there from both Sebastian Diaz and Cameron Coons to retire Oliveri and Smith. You were wondering what was going to happen here as Rulis was waiting on deck. If Smith got on base, that would have been a world of trouble for the Diamond Hoppers. But what a job done there defensively.
Yeah, 2nd time that's happened tonight. First, John Kraft doubling the guy at 2nd, and then there Diaz doubling the guy off at 1st. But 2 huge defensive plays for the Hoppers tonight.
Yeah, Chris Newell and company can't be pleased with some of the base running blunders that they have had so far tonight. With their team down 2-1, you got to say it has made a difference.
For sure, yeah. The coach, it's a good teaching moment for the coach. Again, we're a developmental league here, so anything is a learning experience, especially bad base running, and coaches will be giving it to them later on or tomorrow morning for sure to make sure that doesn't happen again.
That is exactly right, Jared. Couple of mistakes. I'll tell you what, no matter what sporting event you are at, no matter what sport it is, usually the team that makes more mistakes in the game will end up losing. It's kind of just the way the cookie kind of crumbles in these great games that we are proud to be a part of. Rulis, meanwhile, looks at 3 straight pitches, none of them for strikes, and you wonder if Gillespie is just trying to not give Rulis anything here, as, of course, he could, with just one swing of the bat, tie this ball game up. Got to be careful if you're Gillespie here on the 3-0.
Yeah, Rulis is definitely due for a hit. Batting 389 this year. Quiet night, but he's got pop in that bat, and you never know. 3-1 pitch here, looking for that fastball. But last time he threw a changeup, so you never know.
And there's that breaking ball on the 3-1. So we've seen Gillespie go to that off-speed stuff in fastball counts. Rulis, got to imagine he's all over the place right now. He probably has no idea what to expect from Gillespie. Let's see what he brings. Another breaking ball, and Rulis is fooled. The swing and a miss retires the Beavers here in the 8th. Leadoff single from Oliveri leads to a double play and a strikeout. Really nice job thus far today from the Hoppers. They had a little tough stretch to start the season, but they're doing well here as of late. They lead they lead the Beavers 2-1 as we head to the home half of the 8th. You're listening and watching to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's broadcast, home half of the 8th inning. We got Gabe Gunter, Josh McAdams, and Gunnar Buhner due up here, but they'll face off against a new arm on the mound for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers and Ross Vance. Gabe Gunter on the second pitch he sees, hits a ground ball over to the right side of the infield where Rob Poller will make the play with ease. But let's talk a little bit about Ross Vance, the man out of McKinney, Texas. Ross Vance was actually the first player picked up by a pro affiliate here back in 2016 when he was picked up by the St. Louis Cardinals. Had a little trouble in the minors and is back here now with us in the USPBL, but we're excited to see Ross here once again with us. He was with the Beavers in 2016, and he had thrown in just one game before getting noticed and picked up by the Cardinals, but he's back here now as the man that had pitched before him, Brian Heldman, goes 2 innings, gives up 2 hits, does not allow an earned run, has had no walks and 3 strikeouts. Meanwhile, Josh McAdams stands in here now against Ross Vance. Looks at a couple of pitches, 1 for a strike, 1 for a ball. Count even at 1-1. Diamond Hoppers clinging on to this 2-1 lead here late. The count moves now to 2-1, and I'm liking this delivery I'm seeing from Ross Vance. He's got that sort of high leg bump kick, and then it kind of opens up his front foot as he comes home with it. Kind of just messes with the hitters a little bit. Kind of a whole different world than Brian Heldman's does.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who it looks like in the majors. 'Cause I think I've seen that kind of delivery before. But you mentioned he was the first USPBL player to be picked up by a major league team. In the minor leagues, he had a 4.9 career ERA. So not the best, but not terrible. So he's trying to make it back to the Cardinal system, or any system, to be a matter of fact there. But good pitch to get the quick 2 outs there.
Yeah, McAdams on the 2-2 pitch hits a high fly ball. It goes deep into that right field area, just could not leave the park. And making the catch with ease is Ryan Smith out there and right.
Yeah, good pitch there from Smith, I think. But he looks pretty good, though. Like, it's a weird arm delivery, so it probably throws off a lot of these hitters.
So now Gunnar Buhner will stand in against Vance. Vance doing very well through these first 2 batters. A ground out and a fly out gives way to Buhner, who is having a good night. A double, a single, and a fly out. So if you're the Beavers, down 2-1 in this ball game, you got one more chance to tack against this 1-run lead for the Hoppers, and Ross Vance doing everything he possibly can to keep this lead at just 1 for the Hoppers. The 0-2 pitch fought off just at the last second there from Gunnar. That pitch, you got the 0-2 count. If you're a pitcher, you assume or if you're a hitter, you're assuming you're going to get something out of the zone. But Vance threw it back right in there to try and mow down Buhner 1-2-3. But a nice job to stay alive. And look at that. Vance giving too much of the plate with 2 strikes on back-to-back pitches. And Buhner takes full advantage of it. Fouls off the first one and now puts one into play. 2-out single, keep the Hoppers alive here in this home half of the 8th.
Yeah, if you're Vance, you definitely don't want to do that with the 0-2 count. You want to throw it outside to make the hitter chase it, or at least be honest and take it. But that was too much over the plate, like you said before. And as you said before, we have Matt Boyd in the building. I wonder what he thinks of this lefty, only if we could get him up here. But if you're listening, we'd love to have you up here, I guess. Yeah, too late now.
It was pretty cool to hear that Matt Boyd was, in fact, in the building. One of the biggest stars of this 2018 Detroit Tiger roster. Talk so much about Michael Fulmer and what he's done and what he's capable of, but tell you what, I've loved everything I've seen out of Matt Boyd so far this year for the Detroit Tigers. Meanwhile, Chris Mangus standing in there. Vance throwing those strikes, continuing to work here against this Eastside lineup, but there it is again. 0-2 pitch in the zone. Maybe if you're Vance here, you try and force Mangus to chase after something. We saw Mangus chase after a couple in 2 of his at-bats. He's got no hits so far tonight, a couple of strikeouts to his credit, both via the swing and miss. So if I'm Vance here, I'm going to try and bring something deceptive to the plate to try and get Mangus to chase after it for the 3rd and final out. once again, just too much plate right there. I mean, I've never pitched at the professional level, but that's kind of just how you're supposed to go about it. If you're ahead of a guy 0-2, you got room to work with. You can miss the zone and not have any fault come your way, but Vance is trying to stay in the strike zone and retire Mangus the hard way. See if he stays in now. Instead, going over to first base to keep tabs on Gunnar Buhner.
Yeah, it is a baseball 101 rule. You know, you don't want to throw a pitch that's hittable. I mean, he's done that a couple times in a row. He wasn't happy with himself a few pitches ago, tapped himself. Again, right on cue, another one. Too much for the play on 0-2.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's just, I mean, you got 3 balls to throw before Mangus can even think about going to first base. But he's thrown so many strikes to him. If you're Mangus, you got to imagine another one's going to be coming in here. If you're Vance, you got to throw something out of that zone. Finally, there we go. We see it. The fastball missing high and away, nowhere close. So kind of a waste pitch right there. We'll see what it sets up here on this 1-2. Maybe he'll try and go back inside against Mangus.
That was a good waste pitch from Vance, though. He needed that. Just don't throw anything over the middle.
Right over the heart of the plate, as you say it. Batley trying to make the play on the run, but that ball too shallow, and Buhner will get to second, and Mangus with his first hit since game number 3 for the Hoppers. That is his first hit that has not left the park here.
Well, I guess he's upset about that. No, I'm just kidding. That was a good piece of hitting by Magnus. You know, 0-2, you don't know he's going to pitch, fouled off a couple, and it wasn't the best contact, but found a hole. That's all that matters, and it goes down the record book as a single. First and second, 2 outs for the Hoppers for Cameron Coons.
Coons standing in here now, 0 for 3 on the night. Couple of lineouts, and then that 1-2-3 double play put out. It's been a tough outing thus far for Coons. Also had that error at first base back in the second inning that got Adam Gauthier to reach. Coons just not the greatest of nights, but that's the beauty of this game. There is always tomorrow as Coons fouls off one to go even in the count here. But like I mentioned, how for Coons there's always tomorrow, and I believe, yes, in fact, there always will be a tomorrow for Cameron Coons. Eastside Diamond Hoppers and Utica Unicorns in action tomorrow night for Xfinity Fireworks Friday. It will also be Meet the Unicorns night here at the ballpark. First pitch, 7:05. You can join me and my broadcast partner getting his first call of the 2018 season, Mr. Robert Wachowski, fellow Chippewa that will get some experience in the booth with me tomorrow. Loving everything I'm seeing out of my broadcast interns here at the USPBL in 2018, putting in the work. As this backdoor breaking ball will retire Coons. That one just gets enough of the plate on the outside corner, and Coons can do absolutely nothing about it. Strikeout number 1 on the night for Ross Vance. Ends the Eastside threat in the home half of the 8th. To the 9th we go. Beavers will have the 3, 4, 5 hitters coming up, and they will try and get at least one across the board to stay alive in this one. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ninth we go. Eastside Diamond Hoppers holding on to this one-run lead. Logan Gillespie's day is done. He goes 2 innings strong, allows 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, had 2 strikeouts, and he now gives way to Torrey DeShazier. DeShazier on the season, he has been in 4 games for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, 5 innings under his belt, just 3 hits in those 5 innings, just the 2 walks to 7 strikeouts, but flatline 0.00 ERA is part of the reason he's out there on the bump now in a save situation. But it'll be tough. He's got to deal with Poller, Hranick, and Mercado, the 3, 4, 5 hitters for this Beaver team to start this 9th inning. A good start for Poller in this battle. He's looked at 2 balls to begin this at-bat, so be careful if you're DeShazier. And just like that, the 2-0 pitch, not finding the zone either. Poller has quickly worked himself ahead in this count, 3-0.
Yeah, you come in as a closer. If you're not used to it, it could be very hard, because all the pressure's on you. One mistake here, tie game. He's got to throw. He's got to get this now over for strikes here. He can't walk a guy, especially the leadoff guy.
Yeah.
Always comes back to bite you, so
exactly.
You can't do that.
About 90% of the time, if you walk a leadoff batter, there's a chance that he comes in to score. And look at that. After looking at 3 straight balls, Rob Poller has now swung and missed and fouled off one to make this count full here. And if you're the Eastside Diamond Hoppers and Torrey DeShazier, this would be a great start to the finish if you can retire Poller.
That'd be huge for him. 3-0 to this.
That one on a line, a rope right to Kevin Watley's mitt. As this season goes along, we're going to be working a little bit more with our Flight Scope statistical trackers, I guess I should say, and got to imagine that ball was hit probably over 100 miles an hour right to the shortstop, Kevin Watley, as he's having a conversation with Gunnar Buhner, his left side of the infield partner over there, having a chuckle. But nice play and nice job overall from both DeShazier and Kevin Watley to retire Poller for out number 1. And if the Hoppers hold on to this 2-1 victory, remember that one.
Yeah, that epitomizes the night for the Beavers. Very hard hit ball, but right at somebody. I think they've done that a couple times tonight. So just a tough night all around for the Beavers, but you never know here. Still got 2 outs to play with, so anything could happen in baseball, so we'll see.
That is the beauty of it. Meanwhile, Hranick down in the count, even in the count 1-1. The third baseman, Gunnar Buhner, was playing fairly back in the infield, right near the outfield grass against Hranick. You saw Hranick on that 1-1 pitch. He started to show the bunt, pulled back, kind of did that Little League slug bunt approach to try and mess with some of these infielders of the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. And on the 1-2 pitch, that one missing the zone by a lot. McAdams can't even hold on to it, but Beavers down to their final 2 outs here. Skylar Mercado, the man on deck.
It's pretty rare that you see these fielders so far back. I don't know if they have the scouting report on Hranick or not, but they're not messing around here. Playing almost, look at the first baseman in the outfield almost. So he's got power, and they're just respecting him. So
yeah, we talked about how we haven't really seen too many shifts throughout this season, but we'll see it more and more as we go along, and as some of these players get more familiar with their opponents. And that 1-out walk to Hranick have the Beavers threatening here, and now Skylar Mercado coming up to the plate. Many options here for him to try and figure out. You got a runner on first, 1 out. Mercado does have some speed at the plate, and as I say that, looks as if we're going to be getting a pinch runner over there at first base. So Hranick's day is officially done. We'll get a number as soon as we can up here in the booth. Can't see really anything as of just yet, but looks to be a single digit out there at first base. And you know what? That might, in fact, be number 1, Todd Weiss, the man out of Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. So look at that. A man on the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers out of Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Don't see that too often, but I believe that is, in fact, him over there at first base. Todd Weiss getting his first actions here of this night. But Hrannick's night is done. Weiss's day has begun.
Wayne State Warrior there.
There you go.
My current school, actually.
Love to hear that. So
Yeah,
fellow
cool.
Warrior out there on the base pass. Now Skylar Mercado checking in, chasing after the first pitch he sees. So no bunt being shown there with the third baseman, Gunnar Buhner, playing back. I was wondering if they were going to try the unconventional one-out bunt with Mercado's speed. He is 1 for 3 on the night with a single, a strikeout, and a pop-out. 0-1 pitch fouled off right behind home plate into the protective netting. And Mercado is quickly down here 0-2.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea with one strike maybe to put that bunt down. Looking how far the third baseman is. I mean, this grass eats up anything. He did it Mercado did it early in the game. Not a bunt, but he swung and hit a nibbler down the third base line that basically stopped on the grass. So if he could get that down, then could possibly get a base hit here. But now with 2 strikes, probably going to swing away and try to get a base hit.
Keeping tabs on Weiss over there at first was DeShazier. And, yeah, believe it or not, this is actually Todd Weiss's first appearance for this Beaver team. First action we've seen from him all season long. So you got to imagine speed, one of his biggest parts of his repertoire.
Yeah, I think he's got some speed over there. I mean, there is a reason why he's the pinch runner, so it makes sense. Maybe he can try to get in scoring position, and all they would need is a single to get the tying run.
DeShazier trying to get a ground ball that could turn into 2. Beavers trying to take a 3-2 lead with a man on and a man at the plate. The ball getting away from McAdams, but Weiss could not pick that up. He stays over at first base, at least for now. But the count 1-2 on Mercado. Went 2 for 5 in last night's game in a non-public affair against the Utica Unicorns. Had a run, but also had 2 strikeouts. Trying to avoid his second strikeout of the night right here as he's down in the count 1-2. You'll take pretty much anything put in play here, except a double play, of course.
Of course.
The 1-2 to Mercado. Slider gets him frozen. Striking out for the second time via the look. Goes down Mercado, and Torrey DeShazier 1 out closer to getting his first save of the 2018 USPBL season.
DeShazier with a nasty slider there. Nothing Mercado could do about that. I mean, if you're looking for a fastball, he says he looks for the fastball and he adjusts later, but not much he can do there to adjust to that pitch. That was a perfect slider on the outside corner.
Pinpoint precision accuracy from DeShazier, and he'll now deal with Adam Gauthier, who, speaking of precision, pinpoint accuracy, paints one on that outside corner for a strike. That fastball coming in hot on the right hand of Torrey on the mound. That change up, trying to get Gauthier to chase after it. He does not, though. Stays alive. Evens this count up at 1-1.
You wonder if Weiss is going to go here, try to get in scoring position.
You got to maybe try something if you're the Beavers, as this 1-1 pitch misses inside. Gauthier on the night. He's reached base safely in his first 2 appearances, one via an error from the first baseman Coons, and then a fielder's choice back in the 4th that actually ended the inning when Mercado was retired at second. Did ground out to second base back to start the 7th inning. But down to their final strike right now are the Beavers with that swing and a miss. Count now even at 2-2. Gauthier will have to try and keep the Beavers alive. They trail it 2-1. DeShazier trying to get his first save of the season. We'll see if Weiss is put in motion here.
Got to look, if you're Gauthier, you got to look for that slider that he threw to Mercado with 2 strikes. It's probably his go-to pitch here with 2 strikes to get a guy out, so you got to look for that.
It's a great point. Mr. Katz, you wonder what DeShazier will bring here on the 2-2 pitch. Gauthier ready for it. Here it comes. There's that slider, and there it goes. Gauthier chases after it for the third and final out. Back-to-back strikeouts for DeShazier. Ends this one as the Diamond Hoppers come out in a close one by a final of 2-1. Ryan Smith led the way for the Beavers with a solo shot in the sixth, and then in the home half, a leadoff single for Johnny Knight led to a single from Sebastian Diaz. Both of those men came in to score on a couple more singles from Gabe Gunter and Gunnar Buhner, and that sixth inning was the only scoring of the entire night. Both starters, Tyler Palm and Mark Seiler, doing tremendous jobs, respectively, for both outings there for the Beavers and the Hoppers. Seiler goes 5 innings, gives up 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks. His counterpart, Tyler Palm, goes 6 innings, gives up 1 earned run on 5 hits, no walks, and 6 strikeouts. He will end up getting the victory here tonight. His record now moving to 1-1 for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Diamond Hoppers moving to 3-3. Beavers also now at 3-3. So the Beavers, who had started off this season 3-0, Diamond Hoppers through their first 4 games were 1-3. Now both teams sitting at that even 500 mark. And down on the field now, Matt Derry, our in-game host, out there with the player of the game. And that looks to be the man who had 3 hits here tonight. I'm guessing that's Gunnar Buhner. He had a double and 2 singles to his credit. Jared, second game through here with us at the USPBL. What are your final thoughts here after this great baseball game we saw?
This is a well-played game here. 2 great pitchers out there. Tyler Palm really looked good with that slider. And for Seiler, he looked pretty good too. You know, he got pretty lucky when he left the game with bases loaded, nobody out. But hell of a job by the bullpen to keep them in the game. And just an overall great defensive game. Not much hitting, but the Diamond Hoppers made the plays that they needed to win the game. So it's going to be a fun summer here with these teams playing each other constantly. And if you get games like this every day, this will be a great job up here to watch these games. So hoping for more games like this, but maybe some more offense. Could use that, but always a good pitching duel. So
no doubt about that. We will have these Eastside Diamond Hoppers coming off a victory playing tomorrow night against the Utica Unicorns. It's Xfinity Fireworks Friday and also Meet the Unicorns night. First pitch, 7:05. And then on Saturday, WCSX Classic Rock Saturday. We'll have square pegs. It'll also be an 80s night dance party and a Stranger Things theme on Saturday. Sunday, we will have a lot of baseball for you. The man up in the booth here with me and Jared, Mr. Drew Kell, will be on call with me on Sunday, for the doubleheader. It'll be the Westside Woolly Mammoths and the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. For Sunday Fun Day at the ballpark with Beauty and the Beast. And then on Monday, our Memorial Day extravaganza, where our USPBL Star Spangled Sunglasses giveaway. Here's first pitch, 1:05 on both Sunday and Monday. It was a fun one for Drew Kell, Jared Katz, and myself, Rich Borland. Hope you enjoyed this one. Hoppers come out victorious over the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers by a final of 2-1. For everyone here at the USPBL, hope you enjoyed this one, ladies and gentlemen. You stay classy, Utica.